The progression from dream to reality is a strange one. I mean, there's so much that goes into the process of turning an idea into existence that when it comes to that point, it doesn't seem real. In my experience, most of the hard work is done way before ever seeing the benefits of all the efforts expended on the front end, especially when it comes to living on the road. We'd spent more than 2 years planning, preparing, and building, but the trip itself is only half a year at best. The irony is when the reality of our journey comes, it almost feels like it did at the very beginning, like a dream. So as we peer into the future of our journey, we can only hope that the preparations we made were enough to allow for the experiences we thirst for. But maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm Jason, a wild adventurer, and this is my better half, Francesca. She's pretty much the glue that holds this little family together. Marley is my firstborn, and a little too smart for her own good if you ask me. Jax is my boy through and through. There's not a tree too tall or a trail too tough for this little adventurer. So this is the OXFamily, our 2 stowaways, Nana Mia and Auntie Nini, and the story of an ordinary family wandering this amazing planet in search of extraordinary places.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun.
We'd spent 4 days in Southern Oregon getting the last minute details dialed in and linking up with Mama Ox's sister and mom, but it was time to hit the road and head east. We'd first be heading south from Medford, Oregon to Lassen National Park in Northern California, then on to Reno, Nevada to spend a few days with our trail buddies, our journey overland. Alright, so it's Wednesday and we've been in Medford for about 5 days trying to get all the last minute things prepped and ready to go, and then we're also meeting up with Fran's mom and sister who will be joining us for the first leg of our journey for a few weeks, and then then we're on our own over to the East Coast. But first we're going to Mount Lassen National Park. Looking forward to getting on the road. It's been a long month and a half of prep and trying to figure out what we need, and we're not quite there. Still got a little bit of issue with the solar. It's not charging the way it should, but that's okay. That's part of the experience, I guess. So
Side by side and through and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. You and I can weather any storm.
For shiny things that are supposed to be big.
And that's where real power lies, in being in control of your desires and not just being led along by someone saying.
Drama for your mama. What happened?
I don't know. It's overheating. Truck's overheating. Trying to figure out how to replace the thermostat if I need to. I don't know what to do. So, that's not good. Thermostat, maybe? I don't know.
The what?
Thermostat. It's coming up the pass, and it's a pretty steep pass. But for some reason, just started overheating, and I'm not sure why. So, I'm not sure what to do at this point. Barely even got out of town. That's not good. We got to the top of Siskiyou Pass, and I looked down, and the truck was overheating. And so, trying to figure it out, brainstorm. I don't know why it was overheating. The timing belt and thermostat and all that were replaced not too long ago. So, turns out it's the radiator cap that fails and makes all these issues. So, that's what happened to mine. Hopefully, we can get back to a town and buttoned up, get a new radiator cap, and all good. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're looking for a radiator cap for a Lexus GX 470. you have one in stock? Okay, and do you have radiator fluid as well? Okay, awesome. We'll be there in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
On the road, the problems and issues you come up against are only as big as your ability to solve them. Fortunately for us, this was a simple problem with a simple solution. It was only about 15 minutes to the next town where we pulled into the parts store, replaced the cap, and we were back on the road and headed to Lassen National Park.
How could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong.
Well, got all the way to the campsite, and it's dry. So all the water shut off, all the bathrooms are closed, all that good stuff. So the only place with water is 13 miles back where we came from. So that's where I'm headed.
Into a big black hole. It got me stone cold.
Alright, water's filled. Now back up to camp. And I think sometimes you can get too sidetracked by trying to get to a goal, and then when you're there it's a little anticlimactic, because you built it up in your head as this thing that like is impossible to achieve, because in your head of course it's perfect. I sometimes feel like that about this trip. It's like it takes a little while for it to sink in that I'm actually on the trip. Today's the day that it actually feels like we're on the trip. And yeah, I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be out here. That's for sure. I guess the harder and longer you work on something, the more time it takes for the gravity of that situation to sink in. It was our first evening in the great outdoors, and we had so much to be thankful for. Family, nature, the opportunity to explore, but the one thing I'm most thankful for is that I get to share these experiences with the ones I love. Well, we made it. Lassen National Park. And had some hiccups along the way. That we did. We overheated because of the failed radiator cap. And then for some reason, and I think it's the transmission upgrades that we did, it's just reversed to drive, it dies. And obviously it's an automatic, so I don't really understand the logic behind that, but that's what's going on. So kids are falling down and riding their bikes and crying, and I think everybody's a little grouchy. This is life on the road, I guess. I'm happy to be here. Nobody else is. I am.
I'm out of my groove living on the road. I can't wipe my hands. You can, but you have to turn on very little, like this, for too much water. Hey, this is for you. We don't full blast it like that. Yeah,
3 generations of DeLuca.
I think they'll like it.
They're like the babies of the letters. The uppercase are like the mamas. So that kids can come and sell, this way. On our way back.
You're good.
I'm Mary Ellen DeLuca, and I'm known as Nana Mia, and I am just looking forward to a beautiful family time together, and I feel so free and alive here because we're in nature.
This way.
I am Navina DeLuca, also known as Crunchy Nev or Auntie Nini. coming along this journey with my mom. We're gonna just probably stay with them for around, I think, 10 days or 2 weeks and explore more of like the West Coast, and I'm really excited for the Grand Canyon. Hanging out with the family, hanging out with Jackson and Marley. It's really cool to see them also seeing these places for the first time and just wondering what they're thinking. And it's a really cool thing that they get to experience at such a young age and getting that spirit of adventure.
Alright, well, last night was awesome and cold, really cold. But now, today, the second day on the road, we're gonna take off on Bumpass Hell Trail. Yep, that's what it's called. Anyways, we're gonna go on this this little hike, check out some geysers and all that good stuff. That's what we're doing.
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again, but life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running into better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running into better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times.
Well, we made it to Bumpass Hell, and as we discovered via the informational signs, Bumpass was an explorer who was walking around these geysers and accidentally stuck his foot through the crust where there was some soft mud, and it was so hot that it caused so much damage he lost his leg. So it just goes to tell you how hot that water is. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I could see how this was his hell, losing a leg out here.
Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I'm leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running into better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running into better times, to better times, to better times.
What happened to your feet? It's all white.
To better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times.
It was too short to be sweet, and like most of the trips we've been on, attaining the level of travel we were aiming for seemed just out of reach. Lassen was every bit the national park it was cracked up to be. We just didn't have the time to explore it before we needed to be in Boston before it was too cold for our little family. There's a style of traveling that I've been trying to obtain that hasn't quite worked out yet. So this trip that we're on right now is kind of, I guess, a traditional overland trip that we would take, in that we don't spend very much time at any one area. But my goal has always been to travel in a way where we can spend a week or two in each of the spots that we hang out at, to kind of really get a grasp of the area, the national park, the town, wherever we are, but just kind of get a good feel for it. And you really can't do that in 2 days. We're leaving here, Lassen National Park, this morning. So that's what's going on. I'm looking forward to getting back on the road and heading down to Reno. I've had many conversations with you guys over the years, and listening to the stories of those aspiring towards what we do is kind of a weird place to be. You see, on one hand, it's like I said, I'm very thankful for the opportunity, but on the flip side of that coin, I find myself asking, why me? Why am I fortunate enough to be able to leave it all behind and see this amazing world we live in while so many are suffering? Especially now with everything going on, there are those who have lost businesses, jobs, and even loved ones. Meanwhile, here I am living my best life, and if I'm being completely honest, feeling a little bit guilty about it. So to all those in despair, to those at their wits' end, and to everyone who feels like no matter how hard they try, they can't seem to tread the water necessary to keep from drowning, this trip is for you.
Hi, I'm Francesca. My tummy hurts, so I'm not gonna do an interview. So this is me doing an interview. Hi, Francesca. Gonna go to Reno. Bye.
So good. I'm just so tired. It's so dark. Look at that view. Can you watch?